Hi guys, welcome back to another video with Clinton and Charity. We are so excited to be sharing just a topic that's dear to us and is something that will be in our book, and so we wanted to share with you guys a little snippet of it.
Please, if you could make sure to like this video, comment, repost. We are all about adding value, and one of the ways we do that is posting a weekly video that is all about how we were able to go, of course by God's grace, from infidelity to intimacy. And tonight we're talking about what it looks like to go to understand the time it takes to heal, and really the expectations that a couple should have with that, as well as that no one really knows the answer to that question, which kind of is unfortunate. We know that it takes patience, and so we'll tell you that there are all kinds of studies out there. Some say that it takes a year to 2 years. Some studies show that it can take 5 to 8 years, which in my opinion is just straight up depressing, because who in the world wants to go and get a doctorate degree in getting in your marriage? You know what I mean? Yeah. We talk about it all the time, that it's amazing to me how our society is built to get a bachelor's degree for an average job, and then we're taught to go get a master's and add 2 years of college experience to get a better job, and then if you really want to excel, you get a doctorate degree, and it's 8 to 12 years of education, and yet when we get married, there's very little preparation.
Yeah.
So what's happening right now is a lot of couples are going through this infidelity because they didn't talk about this in any kind of premarital. And when they found out it was going on, it's like, oh my gosh, a bomb goes off in their relationship. Yeah. And the question is, how fast can we get over this? Am I right?
Yeah. I just think, for me, I just ask the question a lot, like, how long is this going to last? Yeah. Because the pain of already discovering everything, what we call D-Day, was already excruciating. And so I was already just trying to process that, right? And then now all of a sudden we are both, on these paths of getting healing and being restored individually. And now the process of what that looks like, is a roller. I didn't know I jumped onto a roller coaster. I, at first, was already just feeling broken, shattered. I was trying to pick up the pieces of, figuring out our marriage and what was true and what wasn't. And then all of a sudden, now, he's like, grab on, we're going on a roller coaster, and I don't know when it ends. Yeah. I'm like, yeah. Like, where's the barf bag, and how am I going to survive this?
I just think most people are asking the question, how long is it going to take? How fast can we get through it? How quickly can we get back to the life we were living? Which, if you think about it, is that really what we all want?
No.
Getting back to a life or a marriage full of deceit, full of lies? No, of course not.
But it's okay if you've said that to yourself, because I definitely...
Yeah.
Literally, some days were so hard that I remember saying, like, I just wish we could go back. I sometimes just wish he was in his addiction, because at least it was predictable knowing his emotions, whereas every day I didn't know what I was going to get. So,
which sounds crazy. We're not saying that that's actually a legit truth.
Yeah.
Right? That's like a pretty big lie that you were saying, go back to your addiction.
Yeah.
But what we're saying that is that feelings can be so overwhelming and so painful that it can be very hard to bear.
Yes.
The reason why we're getting this video is because no one can answer that question of how long it's going to take. And I do think that there are a lot of times when people will tell you that you should definitely get ready for the long game. And we're not going to tell you that you can do things quick. But what we will say is that God is able to do things in an incredible time period, and we have to be willing to put in the time. We can't put a time frame on it and say, okay, I'll give you 3 months to change, and after 3 months, buddy, we're going to make it work, or we're all better, or you're out of here. I just don't think that's how a great marriage is built. Great things take time.
Yeah.
Restoration takes time. But listen when I say this. You can have an amazing marriage even after infidelity. We believe that a couple can thrive, and they can have one of the most incredible marriages, even compared to marriages that haven't gone through something as ugly as this. If you listen to our previous podcast that we just did with Debbie Laser, it was actually in her studies, it was actually the people that had gone through the most trauma that showed the most healing. And that's a big deal, which means that if you are just feeling absolutely just overwhelmed, and what did you say? It was excruciating pain, you're miserable, don't give up hope. I know that you don't want to go through this. The guy doesn't want to go through it. The wife doesn't want to go through it. Nobody wants to go through this. But if we can continue to keep our eyes on the goal and on the prize of an awesome marriage filled with truth, filled with intimacy, filled with transparency, it is worth the work. I know the work is hard. I know at times we want to throw in the towel. I know it can feel daunting. It doesn't have to take forever, and it's not going to take forever, right? What we've seen from the different couples we talked to is that it was a period of intense work for maybe a year, 2 years, maybe a little longer at times, depending on how deep the childhood trauma goes and the things that happen in a person even before the infidelity and betrayal. But it is possible.
Yeah.
Don't give up. It is totally worth it.
Yeah. And just to add to that, if you both are at a place where denial has broken and you guys have both made the decision to both individually get help, then you're in it.
Yep.
And it's going to happen where you're going to come to a place where you're going to look back and be in awe of what God did through you, through your marriage, and how he can totally transform and restore your marriage and make it better than new.
All right, you guys, tune in next week on the journey of being restored to more.